Reading fluency. This, my friend, is like the modern mystery of the world. How do we get our kids to go past sounding out every word, having to pause all the time, sounding like a robot when they read, having to put so much effort into just lifting the words off the page and reading fluently? How do we do that? It'd be such a crazy thing. It can feel like I've been reading to my child every single day since they were a baby. Why can't they read the same way that I do? Why are they reading so slowly? Why are they putting these long gaps and spaces in between every single word? It can feel really frustrating as a parent. Like when you're having your child read to you and it is like molasses, turtle slow. It can be frustrating. And you're probably wondering, how do I get them past this? How do I get them to a place where they really can read like we want them to be sounding, like they're talking? That's my favorite way to describe fluency to a kid, is sounding like you're talking when you read. And why fluency is important, just to get on the same page with you, why fluency is important, because it is because our brains can way better understand what we're reading when we can make our voices sound like talking. When we can read in a way where we're not putting too much energy into having to lift the words off the page, our brains know it so quickly, we can focus more on what the story is about or what we're supposed to be learning or asking questions about the text that we're reading. But so many kids are stuck in this place where they're not fluent. They are really slow. They are really choppy. And now all of a sudden, they're not understanding what they read. And we're going, well, why? Why? If your child can have a conversation and understand something out loud in a conversation, ask questions, answer questions, their language comprehension is great. And that's what it's like for most kids. But their reading comprehension, if they cannot read fluently, they're not going to have the reading comprehension that matches their language comprehension, which is what we are when we're speaking. So this part is very important. Understanding what's holding them back, understanding what things you need to stop doing because it's actually hurting them when it comes to their reading fluency. This is vital. So I'm so glad you're here with me. I'm so excited to talk about what are some things that might be holding them back, what we can stop doing today, and what we can be doing instead. And I'm actually going to have a follow-up training to this that's going to go way deep into the actions I want you to take. There's actually only 3 things you need to create a fluent reader. Not a million. It's not this complicated thing. There's only 3 things you need. Three things you need. There we go. And I'm going to explain all of that in my next training. In this one, though, this is what you need to know first. Without this knowledge, the next training isn't going to be as helpful. So thank you for being here and stick around to the end because it's going to be, man, this is going to change the game for you. Before we jump into the mistakes to avoid and what's holding your child back, what is fluency? There are 3 main parts to fluency. One is speed. That's probably what you think of. Most people think of speed. I want my child to read quickly. They're too slow. That's part of it, but it's only one slice of the pie. The other slice is, 2 slices are, this is a fancy teacher word, prosody. So that's basically making your voice sound like talking. It's, if a character is sad, are they showing sadness through their voice? Are they angry? Are they showing anger? It's also the phrasing. So imagine if we talk like this. Ready? Imagine if we had conversations like this all the time. It would drive us completely nuts. Like these random phrases and pauses. We don't talk like that. We don't want to read like that. And the final one is accuracy. Reading the words just like the author wrote them. We don't want to change any word, add any word, delete any words. We want to read the words as they are on the paper, because when authors write something, they write it on purpose. They choose every word on purpose to help our brains understand what they're trying to say. So we need these 3 slices of fluency, like a little fluency pie here. We need all 3 slices for a child to become a fluent and independent reader. Until they can have these 3 things, they're not going to be as independent. They're not going to understand as much of what they're reading. It's going to impact how they're doing. So it's very, very important that we're helping them with these 3 things. I now want to talk about some things that we're going to avoid. Things that are still so common in schools and at home. I hear it all the time. Well, I've been doing this with my child, so why aren't they fluent? I'm like, well, because you've been doing that thing with your child. So let's cut these out of our practices. Let's stop doing these things. They're not helping our kids. Okay. The first thing which might shock a lot of people. Unfortunately, it's still so common to use leveled readers. I'm going to run out of room. There we go. Leveled readers. We can stop using them. So that's like, I know in the school I taught it for years, we use leveled readers. So I would say, your child is a level D. Your child's a level M. They're actually at a level J. I don't know. They either do letters. Sometimes they're numbers. They're at a 400. They're at a 500 level. They're at whatever. Why these are not helpful at all is because they don't tell us what's actually holding your child back. This is a blanket statement. It gives no specifics, no guidance on how to actually help your child move forward. I imagine it's like you're going to the doctor, you're sick. You go in and you're like, oh my gosh, I've had this terrible stomach pain for months. And it happens from 7 to 9 o'clock every single night. And I don't know what to do. And the doctor sits down and goes, yeah, you're sick. Yeah, you're sick. That's what's going on. All right, have a nice day. And they walk out of the room. Well, okay, that's kind of what we're doing with levels. We're saying, yeah, they're a level D. Well, okay, now what? Okay, great. Like a doctor sitting down saying you're sick, or you have something going on with your stomach. Well, yeah, I could have told you that. Like, my stomach hurts. That's not what we need to find out what to do next. If you have a stomach pain, you want tests to be run, you want specifics, you want to have medication or a diet change or something that's going to target exactly what's going on so that you can feel better. And that's what our kids need too. We need to do some testing. We need to figure out what are the gaps that they have. We need to figure out specifics of what's holding them back from being a fluent reader. And like I said, in our next training that I'm going to have following this, I'm going to tell you what those specifics, what of the 3 things they might be missing that's holding them back. So definitely check that out. I'm going to link in the show notes. So make sure you check that out. If you're like, oh my gosh, I think that's it. I've been told my child's a level D. Okay, we need to know more than that. And we need to know how to target what they need. The second thing that we're going to stop doing is asking our kids to memorize words. I know a lot of times people think that if they're not fluent, it means they just haven't memorized enough words. You're sort of on the right path here because there's something that our brains do, and it's called orthographic mapping. It's a fancy word, but the process our brain goes through to be able to read a word quickly is called orthographic mapping. It's kind of fancy. All it means is that our brains know the sounds and can quickly connect them to how to spell those sounds. It can go, okay, or they can look at the opposite. If they look at OI in a word, their brain can quickly go, oh, that's oi. Oh, I know that's oi, coin, coin. That's the word coin. We can quickly connect the sounds to the spellings that are representing those sounds. And when we have enough words orthographically mapped into our brains, we're growing our sight vocabulary. Our sight vocabulary is how many words we can read what feels like quick as a snap. I call it the quick as a snap, and that's why in the next video I have our quick as a snap recipe, because it's teaching you how to get your kids to read quick as a snap, okay? We want kids to have as many words as possible in their quick as a snap sight vocabulary. And when we can grow their sight vocabularies to be very large, that is when they can be more fluent. The thing is, we're not just showing kids, okay, this is the, just look at the word. That's the, just know it. This one is was, just know it. That's was. We need to help them create that connection between sounds and between spellings. When they can look and go, oh, that's the, oh, and that's the E is representing the sound in this word, the. When they can break down and connect sounds to spellings, that is orthographically mapping, and that is getting words to stick in their brain so much better. Connect words to each other that have similar patterns, and it amplifies how quickly they can grow their fluency. So we're not just asking them to look at a word and memorize it. We're helping them connect sounds to spellings. That is where the magic is. And then the third thing we are going to avoid is to jump in too quickly. when you are reading with your child, it can be so tempting to want to help them not struggle. Whether it's because you like, okay, we need to get through this book. We've been sitting here for a long time, so you're feeling your own anxiousness coming up. Or if you just don't like to see your child struggle, which I totally get. I totally get that as mom. It's hard to watch our kids be stuck on something and feel frustrated. But when we jump in and just tell them the word too quickly, and when we just say it, oh, that's the word jump. That's the word jump. Keep reading. We are squashing an opportunity for our child to orthographically map a word. We are taking away that opportunity. We're robbing them of a chance to get a word closer to being mapped into their brain. Because just telling them the word, it doesn't help at all. It doesn't help them learn it at all. It's kind of like if you want to go to the gym and you really want to grow stronger arms. It feels hard at first, doesn't it? When you're first starting a new thing. Well, if your mom comes in and just starts lifting the weights for you, are your arms going to get any bigger? No. No. She's doing all the work for you. Her arms are going to be swole. They're going to be awesome. But your arms, not so much, right? You're missing the opportunity to make those connections that you need to be a fluent reader. We're robbing our kids of that chance. We have to let them struggle a little. We have to be aware of the fact that they are going to be slow at first. This is a lot. We are physically rewiring their brain. So it is going to feel slower at first. We have to give them the chance to build these connections though. So jumping in too quickly and just telling them the word, not the best. Not the best solution. I'm going to give, we have this amazing offer. It's actually I'm going to link it below too. It's called, I can't remember the exact name of that I named it. The Reading Fluency Shortcut. That's what it is. The Reading Fluency Shortcut for Parents. I'm going to link it below because it is going to go into what do you do exactly instead of jumping in too quickly. When you have that urge, what are the exact words you're going to say? What is the exact thing you're going to do instead? Because there are 2 power questions that you can ask instead that's going to support your child without stepping on the opportunity for them to learn. So below, I'm going to have that linked as well. I'm going to have our free next training. So it's also free, our next training, where we're going to talk about what to do instead of leveled readers. A way more powerful way that only has 3 ingredients. You only need 3 ingredients to make this happen. We're going to talk a little more about cutting out that memorizing. No more flashcards. No more just showing them a word and saying, just know this word. Just, you should know it. You've seen it enough. No, we're going to help them connect those sounds and those spellings. And below, I'm also going to link our shortcut, our reading fluency shortcut for parents. So this is an amazing opportunity for you to learn how to get your kids reading fluently at home. Both the training and the shortcut are great ways to build your skills to help your child so that they can be better with their speed, better with their fancy prosody, how it's sounding as it comes out, and a more accurate reader. So if any of that sounds good, I want you to check out the show notes. But for now, let's cut out level readers. No more. Let's cut out any flashcards, memorizing words just because they look that way. Let's stop that. And let's let our kids have that little bit of struggle time. A little bit of frustration is okay. And if you're not sure what to do, if it's like, well, they just get really frustrated, shut down, walk away, and get mad, I want you to check out the shortcut, the Reading Fluency Shortcut for Parents, because that's going to be a really great tool and resource for you to have at your fingertips. I hope this was helpful. I hope you have a little bit more understanding of what fluency is, what to avoid, how we're going to help our kids orthographically map words in their brains and get them reading more fluently. You are a rock star. If this was helpful at all, make sure you subscribe to this channel because we're going to have tons more coming your way to help your kids become a fluent reader, a confident reader, an independent reader so that they can grow into the future that they deserve. The life that they deserve with a strong education. All right. Thank you so much for joining, and I will catch you in the next one.